Hey everyone, Happy New Year. It's been a while since I made a video. I think it's actually been about a year. And now it's 2019, if you can believe that. It's pretty crazy. So I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you know that I am still here and I'm okay. I had a pretty crazy year, but I made it through. So just kind of wanted to let you guys know what's been going on. This past year, I spent a lot of time kind of working on myself and trying to fix some parts of myself that I felt like were in need of fixing. One of the things I decided to do was I wrote my dad a letter. And if you have watched any of my other videos, you know that my dad is a big time witness and he's just caused a lot of problems for me in my life. So I sat down and I wrote him a very long letter. It was 33 pages long, so it was a little ridiculous, but it just got out everything that I needed to say. One of the things that I wrote in my letter, primarily what my letter said was all my reasons for leaving the organization. And it felt really good to do that because no one ever asked me, why I left. When they found out that I left, it was not why. It was, oh, you're leaving. Well, now you're dead to us, which I know a lot of you guys can relate to. So I kind of spelled out all of my issues with the organization, and as well as a lot of things that he had just done, to me in my life that had caused me a lot of problems, and that I'm still having to work out now to this day. And as the adult now, I have to take responsibility for a lot of my own problems and fix them. I can't blame my parents anymore. So I'm trying to just work on all of that and make all of those things, make myself the person I want to be. And I wrote in my letter that one of the things that I did not want from my dad anymore was drunk texts. So I don't recall if I've said this in any of my videos previously, but one of the things that my dad likes to do, because he is such a big drinker, is he likes to get drunk and then text me, usually at night. And they're always like these really strange text messages, like things that I did when I was little, or you were such a cute baby when you did this, or it was so cute when you did that, or and then I have gotten some from him that were like pictures of myself and texts that, oh, you're so pretty. And I appreciate very much that my dad, loved me, when I was a baby, and all that. But the problem with it all now is that he doesn't know who I am now. And this is the extent of our relationship. This is it right here. These text messages and a very brief phone call, maybe 5 minutes at a time, every once in a while. That's the extent of it. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't care about who I am. He doesn't know what's going on in my life. He doesn't know what's important to me. He doesn't know my values, and he doesn't share my values. So it's been many years of that, and it's just starting to wear on me. So I told him, that I didn't want any more of that. The other thing that he likes to do, and maybe you guys can chime in on this, he likes to get drunk and send me like really racist jokes in the middle of the night. And I kind of feel like I don't know if all witnesses were as bigoted as my family was. So maybe you guys can let me know what you think about that, because I always felt like we were all like super bigoted. Even though witnesses span like every country and every nationality, I felt like there was just a lot of racism and bigotry within the witnesses, like privately. So maybe you guys can let me know what you think about that. Those text messages really hurt me on the level that, like, like my dad and his family, they're very superficial people. They they care very much about what things look like on the outside, but they don't give a shit about what's going on inside of anybody. So long as you look good on the outside and everything is, I guess especially for like the family that kind of runs the hall, which is kind of like what my family was. It only matters how you appear. And I have a big problem with that. Because I would love to have a real relationship with my dad where he cares about my feelings and about what's going on with me. But no, I don't have that. So I told him I didn't want any more drunk text messages. So I told him also in the letter that I would only respond to this, by a letter. He would have to actually sit down and write me a letter, and then put a stamp on it and put it in the mailbox, just like back in the old days. And the reason for that was I told him I didn't want to have a phone conversation about this and no text messages. Because I just feel like it's too easy to pop off and just say things you don't mean when you're talking on the phone or when you're texting. It would just, I think that he would be able to be much more honest if he would just write me a real letter. And one of the things that I asked him also in the letter was to just be honest. I felt like my reasons for leaving were pretty compelling, and I wrote them down in a very comprehensive way. I spent weeks on that letter. I drafted it and I wrote it and I rewrote it and I rewrote it, and I thought really, really hard about everything and making it all come together in a way that would make sense. I didn't write any propaganda, nothing that wasn't true. There were no theories about anything. It was only things that could absolutely be verified. And what I wanted him to do was be honest with yourself and with me. I know that if he was really being honest, what he would say is, yeah, all this stuff might be true, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. Because when it really comes down to it, what's true doesn't really matter. He just needs to believe it, and I would be willing to bet that your loved ones just need to believe it as well. And if that's the case, that's okay. It's okay if you just need to believe this, but be honest about it, and be ready for me to be honest with you. The problem I think with a lot of him and me's phone conversations and our relationship just in general is that neither one of us is honest with each other. And I said that, if he calls me on the phone and he says, "What are you doing?" And I'm, decorating my Christmas tree, I can't say, "Oh, I'm just getting my house ready for Christmas." I can't tell him that, this friend of mine is actually gay. I can't say that, I have to be as, diplomatic about everything as possible. I have to protect his feelings. But if I say, "What are you doing?" He can say, "Oh, I'm getting ready for this part that I have in another hall," or, "Your stepmom is pioneering," or "I'm pioneering." He can shove all this stuff down my throat. But I am not allowed to be honest with him about what's really going on in my life. And I just think that that's unfair. And, it's been this way for ever since I left the Witnesses. It's been this way. We've had this kind of relationship, and it's made me feel worthless and like I just don't matter, and I think I'm just too old for this now. I've tried to be the one that can say, "Oh, I never walked out on you. I always, gave you whatever relationship you were willing to have with me, I was willing to have with you." Because I know that one day he is going to die. I know that. And the day he dies, I don't want to feel guilty, like I should have done more. I should have done more to give him whatever it was that he needed. And now I'm at a point where I feel like that has been more detrimental to me and more damaging to me than not having him around and then him just being dead one day. I feel like it's harder to have the kind of relationship that we've had. I'm just too old for this. I have too much other stuff going on. So yeah, it didn't take him long to send me another drunk text message. And I texted him back that I had told him specifically not to do this, that I would not respond to this anymore. And if he really wanted to talk to me, to his adult daughter, then what he needed to do was honor my request and sit down and write me a heartfelt letter and think really hard about it. Think as hard about it as I thought about the letter that I sent to him. I've yet to receive that letter. So I don't know if I will. If I do, I'll let you guys know. I probably won't read it, just to kind of, my dad's an idiot, but I would like to, respect him and a little bit at least by not, sharing his letter. I'm not going to share mine. It's too long. So that kind of brought me to another thought for some of you guys. Me and my dad's relationship has been kind of unusual, I guess, for someone who's left the truth, and that we have maintained a little bit of a relationship. And I know that for many of you, and probably most of you, you haven't had that experience. You probably said, your piece that you were leaving, or you left, or whatever your circumstances were, and your family just dropped you. And that happened to me too with the majority of my family. In fact, everyone except for my dad. And it's horrible. And I know that it's just the most brutal thing that you can go through. And it's completely unfair. But what I wanted to kind of maybe get you guys to think about is the fact that just maybe make you guys wonder what that relationship would really look like. Like if you had that relationship with your parent or your sibling or whoever it is, where they were still kind of in your life, how would you feel if they were just getting drunk and sending you text messages saying how much they liked you when you were a witness? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. And after so many years of this, I'm kind of to the point where I'm like, I would rather have nothing than have this. I would rather you just not be in my life at all than be in my life in this way, because this way is hurting me. And I know that every circumstance is different, and this is entirely subjective. But maybe that can help kind of, I don't know, get some thoughts going for you guys about, what a relationship with a witness family member or friend would actually look like, and how you would have to alter yourself in order to make that relationship work, which isn't fair. It isn't fair to you. You shouldn't have to do that. So, one more thing. I'm going to try to make this video short. I was thinking actually today about my first video. One of the things I think I had said was I was talking about therapists and how they just don't get it. I think were my exact words. And I want to kind of go back on that a little bit. This past year, I was really fortunate to talk to a therapist who herself was an ex-Mormon. And I know what it can be like to try to find a therapist to talk about this with. I have tried and tried. I tried for many years to find a therapist that I could trust and that I could get some help with these issues on. And what I found was that, it's not that they're bad, it's that they just don't have the training to deal with this, and you kind of have to start from scratch, which can be very discouraging, and it can make you feel very, very much alone, and it can make you feel like there is just no hope and you are broken forever, because I felt like that. I felt like that for many years. So I found this ex-Mormon therapist, and she didn't have the same kind of experience as me because Mormons aren't quite, or at least nowadays they're not quite as strict or severe in their shunning and their like estrangement policies and stuff. But this particular ex-Mormon, she did have a hard time leaving, and she did have a really hard time explaining it to her family when she finally decided to leave, and they do treat her differently now. And Mormons and witnesses are very similar. So that was really, really helpful. And I just wanted to tell you guys, if you are feeling lonely, if you are feeling like nobody can help you, if you are feeling broken beyond all repair and like there's just no hope, find somebody. There is somebody out there. And if you have to go through every therapist in the phone book, do that. There are therapists everywhere. There is somebody for you. If you have to start from scratch and tell every single therapist every single thing about the organization until they understand, until you find the right one, then just do it. Just do it. It's hard. It's scary. It's discouraging. It's opening your heart up over and over and over again, and having to lay bare all of your pain. But it's absolutely worth it, especially if you are feeling suicidal or just hopeless for life or for humanity. Or do not just give in to despair. Go and find somebody, because there is somebody for you, I promise. So that is all I wanted to say, and looks like I kept this video pretty short, so I'm proud of myself. And I hope you guys are having a great new year, and thank you for watching, and hopefully it won't be 2020 when I talk to you again. Take care.